Hey TP Nation, you got the Bigdogpckt5s here with you. Very excited to bring to you today the first part of one of my two Sunday Million chops. I will be doing video series on both. I'm gonna go and not skip any hands. Even though a lot of people think that the beginning stages are pretty boring, which they are because I just play, for the most part, pretty standard. Every once in a while, if I don't have a lot of tables, I'll mix up in a hand that I probably really shouldn't. But if I do that, I'll try and point that out as well. I really want to try and break this down as best I can for the TPE Nation. That way, they can see exactly what it takes to get through a huge field major. I've won quite a few of them now, so it can't all be luck. So I basically want to give you the blueprint, and hopefully one of you guys can then take that knowledge and do it yourself. What it takes, in my mind, is playing really good, making really good decisions, and you have to run good too. In a field this big, you need a little bit of luck. In the first Sunday Million, which isn't this one, this is the second one, by the way, just the way the hand histories came out for me, you need to run really good. In the first Sunday Million, I ran really good. In this one, I also ran good, but not quite as good. So we'll just fire it up here. There'll be a lot of hands at the beginning I don't play, but we'll just have a look at them anyways, and you can see why I'm folding or what I'm doing. I get walked right away, so immediately I'm chip leader of the tournament, and that was a good sign to come. Jack 6, I'm just going to fold here every single time, even if it's folded to me. I'm not really looking to get, too involved too early with too many marginal hands. I just feel like this is a really soft tournament. There's a lot of soft spots, even if you get what is called a tough table. There's still a lot of soft spots at any table at any given time during the Sunday Million. So I kind of just wait till, the first 1,000 or so people bust out of the tournament. Annies start kicking in. And then, I pick it up a little bit. And I don't go absurdly aggressive. But I make sure I take my steal spot once or twice in orbit, just to keep my stack level and ensure that when I do finally pick up a monster, there is a chance I get some action. A lot of people don't realize that they kill their own action by being so tight. When they do finally pick up a hand, somebody will be like, "Oh, I can't believe everybody folded. I have aces." Well, you haven't played a hand in 3 orbits. Everybody knows you have aces. So that's another benefit to being active. So that's what I kind of do. I kind of just wait until, a few people get out of the tournament, blinds go up a little bit, and then I just start picking my spots. Obviously, a hand like ace-queen I'm going to play. He raises, I'm going to 3-bet because I'm way ahead of his opening range. I have ace-queen. I want to try and get some value in the middle. He folds, so that's fine. I just take the pot down and carry on. 2-4 clubs, suited 1 gapper. I'm just not even interested at this point. Would have been out of position against 5 people. Probably would have had value to put in the chips and try and flop a monster. But like I say, I'm just not interested at all. I think I go through a series here of probably 2 or 3 orbits where I don't even consider playing a hand. We'll see the hands to see exactly what I'm folding. But again, I'm just really not interested at all in getting involved. I just open fold my button. Again, a suited 1 gapper, 7-9 of spades. Just not interested. King Jack of clubs, maybe later in the tournament. In this spot, I would be playing this hand. Here, I'm just instantly mucking it and moving on. Again, 10 deuce, you're going to hear me say this a lot for the first little bit of this video. Not interested. Just want to play premiums. A lot of people are interested in playing pots early on. I'm not one of them, but when I do get a hand, somebody's theory is, and I don't think it's a bad theory, it's just not my style. Some people's theories are, well, I'm so deep, I like to splash around a little bit, flop monsters or do whatever, and then try and crack a big hand, which is fine as well. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. It's just not my style. My style is to play really tight at the beginnings, kind of make it deeper into the field, and then open up a can on everybody. So again, we're just in a big series of hands where I'm just folding everything. I do get walked 5-9. Take the 90 chips and move on. I'm not sure if this is the Sunday Million where I get down. I get down pretty low, and then I ship it back. But I remember at one point getting to about, I don't know, 40 or 50,000 in chips, and I said to a buddy, I said, oh, another 14 million chips and I can chop again. Jokingly, obviously, I didn't really think it was possible to chop this tournament 2 weeks in a row. And then I did it. So a beautiful little 10 days for me when you add in the Super Tuesday win as well. It was a pretty nice 10 days. Sunday Million twice and the Super Tuesday. So again, just folds all the way around for me. Not trying to be a hero at all. 5 deuce off, fold. I mean, I can skip through these hands a little quicker if you guys want, but I know a lot of you guys want to see a lot of the hands. There's a hand actually coming up that I want to see because it says I did not play it and I have queens. So maybe I ran to the bathroom or something, but I'm kind of interested to see what happens there. It's a couple hands away. Looks like I'm in the big blind and I'll have queen, queen. Maybe I'm sitting out and I don't realize it. Let's see what happens here. Maybe I get walked. And that's why I don't play it. And that's what happens. I do get walked queens. So when you get walked, it says on this replayer that you didn't play the hand, which you technically didn't. So I'm probably not thrilled with the fact that I got walked queens, but it is what it is. A lot of times I'll call these types hands and just play them like sets. Try and flop a flush, and if I do, go big. Would have been a good flop for my hand, but again, a lot of times I'm just knitting it up. Letting people exit the tournament. Four deuce is obviously pretty much a no-brainer. Folds king hutch. 8-5 off. Fold. At least we see the big blind has gone up to 80. Once we get some antes in there, we might get a little bit of excitement. Some 4 clubs. Into the muck. Never to be seen again. Four. I do open it up. Small pocket pairs have a lot of value when everybody's this deep. He leads out, I just fold. Take it. So I get a free flop, not my hand. Free card, not my card. Fold. And queen 3 of hearts is going to be into the muck. Doyle on the button also joins the muck parade. Jack 9. Just going to fold. Later in the tournament, in this spot, folded too. I'm going to be opening Jack 9 there quite a bit, depending on stack sizes and other dynamics. But right there, I'm just going to fold it. Ace 10. I'll give that one a little bit open from mid position. Take it down. Got to keep everybody honest and play those types of hands from mid position. Can't be folding everything. But you can see lots of action, lots of big pots getting in the middle, even though we're so deep. A lot of people like to join that parade, which I don't really have a problem with. You can accumulate a lot of chips. Again, 10K when the big blind's, less than 100. I don't really see trying to get too involved because you pick up 500-600 in chips. It's great and everything, but it's not really a big, huge difference in your stack. To me, 100 big blind stack is the same as 125 big blind stack. You can still do the same things and make the same moves. You have heaps, you're hella deep. So continuing to fold at this point. Not to mention, obviously the Sunday Million is on a Sunday, so you probably have multiple tables if you're anything like me. So it's pretty easy to play fairly tight early in tournaments because there's action at other tables and you're probably not really bored out of your mind. King 3, mid position, into the muck. Early position raise. Obviously, even if somebody doesn't raise, I'm just going to do what I've been doing. I've been throwing my cards away. Queen Jack, mid position. Would have folded even if that guy didn't open. With his open, it made it really easy. Four nine of diamonds. Muck parade. Everything's going in the muck right now. The big blind has gone up to 120. Always happy when I see the blinds go up a little bit when we're all so deep. Jacks, obviously, I'm not so nitty as to fold that. Gonna open that UTG. We do get one caller, two callers. Pretty good flop for jacks. Standard C-bet. Called. The queen hits, I just shut it down a little bit. The ace hits and it goes check check and we have the best hand the whole way and take it down. If he would have done anything there with the queen and the ace coming on the turn in the river, I would have just folded. Again, not a huge difference to me if I have 9,500 or 10-5 at this point. But it's good that he played it so passively. I picked up the chips. People stacking off with top two there when there's a, king queen could have been very easily in someone's range there and they were beat. So that is the argument for playing a lot of hands early. People will tend to stack off. But it also is an argument to playing tight too, because when you do get a hand, you're usually going to get action because someone's willing to mix it up. Which is our theory. Card low 69 opens again. He seems to be on the agger side. I've probably made a mental note of that at this point. He shows queen 6, confirming what we suspected. He's the type of guy that likes to mix it up early. Again, I don't think it's an awful decision to play that style. It's just not my particular style. I mean, he's up to 11K. He's doing fine. A lot of people deploy that strategy. Again, he's opening. You know, people have different styles for a reason, you know, and my style always isn't the best for, you know, every occasion. Um, but you got to stick to what, you know, has brought you success and what you feel is the best for you. And for me, at the beginnings, it's just tight. You know, I'll get myself into marginal spots if I start playing a lot of hands and try and push edges. I really shouldn't when I have an edge on the field. Um, I just figure it's not the way to go. I defend here with the ace-9 against the ag guy. He has 6-8 and he hits a 6 on the river, which is fine. We lost 300 chips, no problem. Take it. Nice answer. We definitely could have 3-bet there. We were in position against a really loose opener. But I think my theory at the time was we probably have the best hand. We don't want to give him an opportunity to 4-bet us and make us fold the best hand. And if we do hit anything on the flop, we'll just let him spaz off some chips to us. That was my theory at the time. It obviously didn't work when he hit a 6 on the river. But again, small pot, 2 big blinds, no big deal. We open the 6s there, and we take it down. Six, 8 of spades, mid position. Our buddy opens, so we just fold. So that's where a lot of people would be flatting there because, you know, 6, 8 of spades flops pretty decently. And if you do hit it, it's probably disguised. So I definitely see the value in it. And people trying to make, you know, play those types of hands in positions against an aggro player. 6, 5 of hearts, just going to fold. Again, the big line has gone up to 160, so we're getting to the point where we like to get some antes in the middle and maybe start doing something. Ace-10, early position, just going to fold. Later in the tournament, we're definitely opening that, but right there, early position, we're just going to fold. That hand popped pretty quick, but it was, let me tell you, Queen 8 off. So we're just going to fold that. Jack 4 in the BB. We get a limper and a raise and a flat. We're just not having it. Throw the cards away. We get ace-10 in the small blind. Same guy limps. We're going to fill it. We do have the nut flush draw now. We do get to the nut flush draw, and we pick up no chips. But that's fine. We'll take that. Kind of just pot controlling there with the nut flush draw on the turn. With 2 people behind, I figured somebody was going to bet, and I was just going to call. I didn't want to bet and have to call a raise. Ace-King, obviously, I'm going to play that. So I'm in raise. Nobody interested in giving the big dog chips at that point. But again, the few pots we have played, we've managed to pick up a few chips, so we're sitting in pretty decent shape. But my theory is, with those ace-kings, when I do get those ace-kings, or aces, or whatever, more times than not, early in these tournaments, somebody's willing to splash with you, and you do get action. Yeah, I didn't get action with the ace-king there, but I'm sure on my next monster, next couple monsters, I will get the action I'm looking for. 4 is under the gun again. Gonna go ahead and open that up. Nobody wants any, so we take it down. Ace 8 of diamonds. We do defend. And he has a better ace, so by playing it slow, it worked out fine. We could have bet at some point at that stage, but we just pot controlling everything when we're not sure of our hand. We got a 3x there. Might have to slow this one down. We got a full 3x from this guy, and he hasn't been really doing a lot of that, so I might put him on some sort of hand here. So I put out a pretty big 3-bet to try and get some value in the middle with obviously aces. He calls. It was a pretty gin flop for aces. There's like a lot of kings in his range from opening from the cutoff. King queens, ace kings, king jacks. I guess an 8 is possible from anybody at any given time, but when you have aces, that's pretty gin right there. So happy to see it. He calls. Sorry, slowing the action down here again. When he just calls, I mean, I'm either crushed or he has a hand with showdown value. I probably put him on the king. So I decided to go ahead and fire the 2 barrels, and he calls. And then the river comes out, which I'm pretty happy with, and I blast it in there, and somehow he figures jacks is good. And this is what I'm talking about. People are willing to mix it up. There's no way I play a hand like jacks like he did here. I don't really have a problem with the pre-flop action, I suppose. But when I'm firing 3 barrels with a king on the board, you gotta fold that. But he doesn't, and we get a nice little double up early. And we're up to 21K. So again, we waited for our monster, we got action, and we got paid. You know, I hear from people all the time, yeah, well, I do that, I play tight, and I wait for monsters, and then I take a bad beat. Well, yeah, that can happen, and believe me, I wish you guys could see the amount of times that's happened to me. But it's just something you have to fight through. It's variance. Every single poker player in the world, everyone, thinks they run bad. And the reason they think they run bad is because when you take a bad beat, it eliminates you from a tournament a lot of times. So you just feel like that's what's always happening. It's just the way it is. It's just something you have to fight through. Ace Jack from mid position. Gonna go ahead and open that. We get 3-bet from the big blind. We call. We don't hit our flop. We just shut it down. Ace Queen, the very next hand. We're gonna open it up, knowing that some people might think we're upping the aggression because this is a few hands in a row. 7-7-8 flop. We see bet and they fold, so we'll take that. Cardlow 69 continuing to do his thing, being aggressive. He could have anything here. 10s, well done, nice hand, sir. We just folded King 10 under the gun for those of you that didn't see the quick fold of the replayer. 6-3 off in the big blind. Not going to do anything with that if anything's done. We just fold. We do pick up a gut shot, which we would have hit, but it's still the right fold without being results oriented. The old Jack 10 folded to me, so I decided to mini raise. He calls. The flop comes 6-6-5. We see bet and he folds. So I think that's fine. I think it's a little too nitty just to be folding 10 Jack suited when it's folded to your heads up. So I like my open there. I don't play it a lot early stages, but in that position, in that spot, I think it's fine to definitely open there. Play it as I did. Nine 10 mid position, just gonna fold. Nothing in the middle here to go after. Queen 4, same thing. Muck parade. at this point, I'm just starting to curse at the dealer. Come on, dealer, give me a hand. We did have a queen here. Would have worked out for us, but again, we made the right decision. And plus, we have 21K. I mean, we're in really good shape. Again, no need to do anything crazy. We can't win the tournament at this point. We can certainly lose it. We're just, again, waiting for aces, kings, ace, king. If we get a small pocket pair, we'll play them, trying to set people, but we'll give up on our hand pretty easily. We do have antes now, which is nice. We folded queen 10 there. So we're definitely going to try and set mine here when this guy's this deep. Flop comes pretty ugly for threes, so we just give up. And that's what we do. It's fine. We give away a little bit of equity, but if we do hit our hand there, we feel like we get a lot of chips, so it's worth it. Nine eight suited connectors from the button. Definitely would have opened that had it got to me, but it didn't, so we just fold. Queen 6 on the cutoff. Might have opened that. You know, there's a little antes now, but it didn't get to me, so that's fine. Aces, and we get another 3x early position. So again, we put out we put out our 3-bet. We make it a little bit, you know, a little bit bigger, just because he's 3xing. He's kind of short. We feel like he's going to tool out here quite a bit, because we feel like he has a good hand. And he does. He rips it right in the middle. He has queens. We run pure. 28K. Very nice. You know, I do believe in watching that. If people, you know, they just start 3xing, those are usually the people that are nittier players, and when they have a hand, they just play it to the death, like, you know, that guy did. Do I blame him for not folding queens? Absolutely not. But it's just easy to tell. It's easy to read what they have more times than not. So if you feel they have a big hand like that, you just try and induce them to put in the chips, and more times than not they do, and you take it down. You know, if he was to min raise there, I have different options of flatting or 3-betting or whatever the case may be. But when he does that, and I feel like he has a big hand, it's just kind of easy just to try and get the chips in the middle and hold. So we got 9s in the big blind. We get a 3x under the gun. So we're a little bit worried here because it's the same type situation as this guy had here. He could have a monster because he's 3xing. He's got a shortest stack. So we're a little bit on the leery side. The flop comes jack 6-5. When he checks behind, obviously I feel pretty great about that. I probably have him on like ace king now or something like that. If he would have c-bet the flop, there's a chance I might have just given up. But now he's showing a little bit of weakness. So we check the turn, and he checks behind again. A turn comes a queen, which I'm not thrilled about, because he could have ace queen or king queen or some sort of hand that might have hit. But we have him on ace king, so we probably would have called a bet. And he does have the ace king of clubs. So again, although, you know, we were a little bit leery because of the way he played it, he also gave us tremendous amount of information by just checking back the flop, and we immediately put him on the one hand that we're beating, just by the way he played it. And we were right, and that's the hand he had, and we take it down. So I might have opened this had it gotten to me. I have an ace in the cutoff there is some chippies in the middle now. So my game changes once there's antes. Although when I'm this deep, I still have over 100 big blinds. I'm still playing a little bit more passive than I normally would had I have 40, 50 big blinds with antes. Then I may be a little bit more aggressive. Again, picking up this, and this isn't really going to affect my stack too much. So we just go ahead and fold there. The old 5-6. 10-9 of spades from earliest position. Again, I don't have an issue opening that depending on stack sizes and whatnot. But early position, my stack's real good. I'm on preservation mode. I just fold. We had 9-5 of spades here on this hand. Again, just fold. They decide to get it in. Ace-10 holds. Our boy Carlo, who's a little bit aggro, now has chips as well. We're happy to have direct position on him. There may come a time we win a big pot off him. I can't remember, to be 100% honest with you. I might have opened the button here just based on my stack, and I have the button. But Carlo beats us to it. People could be saying, well, if Carlo's that aggressive, why not throw a little 3-bet out there when he's opening the cutoff? And it probably works. But what if it doesn't? I'm just giving away chips for no reason. So I'll just let him do his thing, and I'll wait and I'll pick my spot when I see it. So we just fold the King 4 diamonds early open there. 2-7 offsuits. We're not playing the 2-7 game, so it's an easy fold. No big deal. We had no club. 6s. Our boy Carlo opens. He's really deep. We're really deep. We decide to flat and try and set him. It's a good flop for 6s. Let me just slow it down here a little bit. It's a good flop for 6s. But I decided to take the free one because I'm not exactly sure what he's doing when he checks. He's been really, really, really aggressive. So when he checks on a 9-8-7 flop, I'm thinking maybe he has some sort of showdown value. Maybe an ace-8, an ace-7 or something. And that's why he's checking. Doesn't really make sense to me that he's not going to c-bet a lot of the time when he just whiffs. So I have him on showdown value. And if he did pick up showdown value, no matter what card it is, he has 6s beat. And my hand does have some draw equity. So I just check behind on the flop. The turn gives me a flush draw. He checks. I check. The river comes the queen, and he checks again. So now I'm not really sure because I'm thinking to myself, why would he just check the flop? And then I check all the way down behind him, and no matter what he has, he doesn't go for a little bit of value. So he might have a naked 10 when he checks to me. But I just check anyways, and he has the ace-jack. I probably wasn't going to get anything from him, and I do pick up the hand. I mean, it's pretty thin value to be going for a bet there when there's 5 overs on the board. I did kind of think he might have had a naked 10, and that's why he was checking. But again, what am I getting paid with if I have 6s and I go for value with 5 overs? What hand is he really going to pay me with? I guess maybe some ace highs, ace king, ace queen, ace jack. But it's pretty thin to be going for a bet there, so I like to check behind and take it down. 7-8 off in the big blind. We get a limper. So obviously we see the flop. We flop mid pair. We check. He checks behind us, so we're not really sure where we are. But then the king comes. It's kind of a scary card, and he could have that. So we just check again. He checks behind. When the king comes on the river, I don't really mind a value bet here. But I also don't mind a check because a lot of times he's going to feel like his hand's good now, even if it's an ace jack, an ace 10. Or if he has something that he just totally whipped at, he may actually take a stab now and try and steal the pot, and we can bluff catch. And it turns out he does have an 8, and he went for very thin value, but we have the same hand with the queen, so Chopsky and Hutch. I think that was played fine by both parties. 2-3, just going to walk it out. Guy only has a 20 big blind stack. Don't really want him ripping in my eye. Don't really need his 300 chips that badly, so fold Ski and Hutch. Pretty easy fold. No big deal. No harm done. No foul. Jack 9, mid position. Again, I don't really have an issue if you're opening that there. It's kind of a feel thing. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. When I'm this deep, it's not a. To me, again, there's just not a whole whack of value in me trying to pick up these chips. So I just decided to let that one go. Jack 5, mid position. We're still kind of in waiting for aces, kings, queens, ace king, ace queen mode. Good game, sir. What do we fold there? Two, 4 off. Obviously, under the gun, we're folding the 2-4 off. Ace queen in the big blind. We get a limp here. This guy's limped a few times. Obviously, we think we're way ahead of his limping range, so we put a little bit of value in the hand, in the pot. We 3x. The flop comes 9-9-5. More times than not, he's not going to connect with this flop here, so we go ahead and c-bet it. And he calls. We're not exactly sure what's going on when he does that, when he calls and then fires the turn. So we just lay it down because, again, yeah, it's a nice little pot in the middle. We may have the best hand, but there's a chance he has some sort of pocket pair and he just really likes it right now, so we just fold. No harm, no foul. Early raise, UTG, king 10, just going to fold. Ace 6 on the button. Definitely feel like we would have opened that. But this guy beat us to it, so no big deal. Jacks. Queen 9, mid position. Again, suited. Can open if you like it. I obviously wasn't feeling it. King 7 of clubs, just fold. Would have hit our straight. That's fine. Ace king, obviously we're going to open that. Little min raise. We get 3-bet here. We haven't been that aggro, but then again, we are Bigdogpckt5s. This guy is more scary to me than this guy. And I'm just trying to get this guy out of the way because I want to get heads up with this guy. So I just cram it in the middle. I feel like this guy has some sort of pocket pair now, maybe 10s or jacks or something. And I'll flip with him if he decides to make the call. I feel like this guy's going to fold a big percentage of the time. He doesn't, though. He calls. He has aces. It didn't matter on that flop. I mean, if the flop comes ace, 6, deuce, I literally have to put him on deuces, 6s, or aces to be beating me. So I would have got it in like no matter what on that flop, I think. Um, and I don't really like flatting ace king ever. I always just try and get it in when I figure people are making moves. It was a lot of chips. It is what it is. It would have got in on the flop. Probably not played optimally at all, but again, it would have got in on the flop, so it is what it is. And we get down to 9K, 22 big blinds, ace jack under the gun. Maybe I want to look a little bit tilted here. Just like, oh man, I'm so over it. I just lost ace king to aces. So I rip, hoping somebody might make some sort of hero call with ace 10 or, king queen or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't happen. I do pick up some chips right away. Three deuce of clubs, not going to defend that, obviously, just going to fold. I'm trying to remember if I was tilty at that point or not. I don't think so. Probably wasn't. I probably thought to myself jamming that many chips with the ace king was bad. But again, with that flop, would have got it in anyways. King jack, early position open, just gonna fold. Queen 5, mid position, just folding. I gotta pick a few more spots now because big blind's gonna go up. Suddenly, I'm gonna be withered below 20 big blinds, so I might be a little more aggro. As you can see, I opened the queen jack suited. Um, trying to pick a few spots. I do flop top pair. I get raised here. Now I have to try and decide what he's representing. Um, Aces, kings, a bigger queen. Uh, is he really going to raise a bigger queen? Not sure. This could be a complete move. My stack's getting short, so my options are fairly limited, just to stuff or fold. I decide he's full of it, and I put my chips in the middle, and he folds. So we do pick up our chips. As you can see, the big blind did go up, so, instead of waiting around to blind down below 20 big blinds, I usually start picking spots when my stack gets around there. And that's exactly what I do, and I pick up some chips that I desperately need. Eight, 5 of clubs in the big blind. Should probably never be defending this. This guy flatted. It's a suited two gapper, and I may just decide, wow, I feel lucky. Every once in a while, I do that. I know a lot of people say that's a fish thing to say. Oh, I felt it on this hand or whatever. But all through my poker career, I kind of just have instincts, and I go with them. And when I feel like I may want to take a shot and play a flop that I normally wouldn't, I do it. I do pick up some showdown value, but this guy is kind of short. So I just decide, you know what? He's setting up something where he wants to get all his chips in the middle. I'm just going to fold. So that hand's played pretty poorly, because if I'm going to defend and then hit mid position, I should probably just at least float there. But I just get over it and just shut it down, which I think is fine. Had this guy opened, had he mini raised here, I'm sure I would have 3-bet stuff. But because he just open rips, and he's open ripping through 30 bigs, I just have to fold my ace 10. He does have ace 5. Seems like a pretty awful rip to be ripping 30 big blinds with ace 5 there. Don't recommend that whatsoever. but it worked out for this guy. All right, so I think we're at 45 minutes or 50 minutes here, so I'm just going to stop this video, and I will be back with part 2 momentarily. Thanks for playing along, guys. I know the first installment was a little on the nittier side and maybe not a huge amount of information for a lot of you guys. But again, some people like to see the early stages, even though they're pretty standard and nothing, next level or anything like that. The only thing I really seen on this video was I played a couple of hands poorly. That's going to happen. Anybody that says they play every hand optimally is just pretty much lying. The good thing is you can recognize when you play a hand poorly. I think that really helps your game in the long run if you know you're doing stuff bad. So even if it works, you know it's bad, so you don't continue to make the same mistake over and over again. Sometimes I just get over it and I play hands weird or not optimally just because, like I say, I'm over it. But I know what is optimal, which is important. Go through your own hand histories, guys, and recognize things that you should be doing differently or things that you would do differently had the situation presented itself again. And it'll be really, really helpful. This replayer, the Universal Replayer, is free to download, and it's very easy to input your own hand histories, and you can go through them, and it's a good training tool. You need to be able to recognize your own mistakes. So if you do put a hand history in, and you're like, wow, I didn't make a single mistake through that whole tourney, you're probably not recognizing your mistakes. Because I think more players than not will play at least 2 or 3, 4 or 5 hands bad throughout a tournament, at least, at a bare minimum. So it's definitely good to review. Anyways, thanks for playing along. This has been part 1 of the Sunday Million run. I will be back momentarily with part 2. Thanks, guys.